Hello, everyone, and welcome to NextGen Aurora, a podcast for youth. And we are so excited for our episode 3, and I have a special guest. I think this is the first time we have a single guest, but I'm very excited to welcome this young man from our community, Aurora native, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about himself and his success. My name is Simon Rodriguez. I'm the Youth Services Manager with the City of Aurora, and my guest today is Mr. Kevin Martinez, who is an East Aurora graduate now, officially. This year's East Aurora valedictorian, and all around just someone who is extremely involved in not only his academics, but in our community. So welcome, Kevin. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me here.
Yes. So we were joking beforehand that this is not your first interview. You've had actually quite a few over the last
I think it's like my third one. Yeah,
yes.
I had like WGN. It was like Telemundo, no, not Telemundo, Univision.
Yep.
And then like an article with Beacon News, I think.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. Your story is truly amazing, and we definitely wanted to bring you on this show so that you can share a little bit more with us. So thank you for being here. So Kevin, right off the bat, I want to talk to you a little bit. Let's go back in time, because I'm very interested in hearing about. Tell us about your childhood, growing up, in Aurora, in the community. Just share a little bit about that with us.
So I think like starting off like in my childhood, like I've always seen like in terms of like growing up in Aurora, I've always seen it like it's such a big city, but like ironically, like now that I think about it, like although like we're one of the largest cities in Illinois, I feel like everything is like so like close, and like I know where everything's at, and like I'm aware of like what's going on in the city. And like growing up in Aurora, I grew up in I think it was a 2-room apartment with my family. We're a family of 7.
Okay.
And my parents are immigrants from Mexico, and my dad immigrated here first, and sooner my mom immigrated as well, and they started their life here. We're a lower middle income family, and all of us went to Rollins Elementary, and then I transferred to Fred Rogers Magnet Academy, and then eventually went to East Aurora High School.
Awesome.
But growing up in the Aurora community, it's always been like full of events, and my mom's always been that type of person. Or if there's like a 4th of July parade, or like these parades going downtown, she would always be like the first one like to wake everyone up and like hand everyone like these plastic bags, so like when they're throwing out candy, you can collect them.
Oh, that's smart.
And
yes.
She would take us to the library where we can like rent out books, because she didn't really like us on our electronics that much.
Okay.
But like we always like, we're pretty involved, whether it not be just volunteering. My mom always wanted to make sure like we weren't just like on our electronics, and like I guess like in touch with like the community,
Wow. Well, first of all, your mom seems obviously very awesome, and really very intentional, right, about how you all and your siblings grew up. You mentioned electronics. I kind of want to talk a little bit about that, because as I have a tablet in front of me, but when we start thinking about like youth development, right? Would you say that your mother's should we say restriction, and I say that in a good way, of electronics, do you think how did that affect you, in your academics and also just in life?
Honestly, like that honestly ties into like my early life as well. Like I didn't really have that restriction. We just weren't in that state where like everyone like nowadays like has like their iPhone or like their iPad. So like I guess that kind of in a way helped. Like I would spend more time with my family, and even though like we were in that crammed home, I guess like that had its benefit of like me always being around my family, and like not everybody goes and locks themselves in their room after dinner. And like I guess that socially like set me up for success, because like that kind of made me family oriented, and like I guess like start from scratch and like learn everything the right way, and not like watching things off like TikTok or like Instagram, and like witnessing stuff firsthand, and like hearing everybody out for their story.
Absolutely. So it seems like there was obviously a social benefit. But also, would you say there was an academic benefit of you maintaining, obviously as a valedictorian, we'll talk a little bit more about your academics, but did that mindset of limiting, technology help you in your academics as well?
I'm not sure like if that really like benefited, because like I did start like using electronics like early like middle school, because like Fred Rogers Magnet Academy gave us like laptops like in 3rd grade, and I was like, whoa, like this is like my first electronic, like it was
Right.
honestly like such a cool experience. And like shout out to them for like making that happen, because like
Yeah.
a lot of kids in like our community at that time just like didn't have that stuff accessible to them.
Yeah.
But I think like during high school, I feel like electronics honestly like benefited me more. And like I think about this a lot, where like maybe like I think I had it bad, but like maybe like my older siblings, like they didn't have as much access, and they would have to like go to the library and do their homework with their electronics. So like me having like a laptop in high school, and like me being able to like do my work from home, or like being able to like, you know, work with friends and like hop on like a call and like do work together, like I feel like that benefited me honestly. But like I only can think about like, wow, like if my siblings had like access to like what I have had, they probably would have had like the same like, you know, success.
Okay.
And, like that just makes me like more grateful in a way, you know.
And that's great. And I love that you tied in technology isn't bad, right? We sometimes attack it. Actually, if anything, it benefited your educational experience, right? So. Which is great. Thank you. And you talked about the parades, right? We just had a 4th of July parade.
Yeah.
Did your family attend?
Of course you did, yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's like a family tradition.
Yeah.
I love it. That is awesome. And I really love that, you know, it's truly it's an important story, but it's also a very familiar story to have many of our families here in Aurora that come from different backgrounds, many of which from Mexico, right? My parents as well, right? And
yeah, that's what I've noticed as well. It's like it's primarily like, I guess like first generation community, because like it's kind of like barely starting off. But like if you notice that like in some of these surrounding high schools, like a lot of people that are graduating are like first generations, like to go like off to college, or like even to finish high school. And like I find it that like really cool in a way. Yeah. Well, like there's like diversity in like every community and like every room you step into. So like it's pretty
absolutely cool. And truly, I mean, you said it. I 100% agree with you. Yeah. I think the diversity, especially in our community, is a positive, right? Yeah, it makes us a better community. Awesome. Love it. Now tell us a little bit of what you've been involved with. I know, again, you just finished your high school career. Tell us a little bit about the things that you were involved with. I know band is one of them, right? But please share with us a little bit of your involvement.
So band was definitely like one of like my strongest like extracurriculars in like high school. So like my mom obviously didn't want us in electronics. So like my oldest brother started off playing the saxophone, and like I watched him like throughout his journey through high school. He graduated in 2017 from East Aurora High School. Okay. And like I would attend every football game and like watch like the halftime marching band performances, and like every like sibling after him kind of like followed in his footsteps. So like I was kind of around that scene for like around like 10 years. So like as soon as I got into high school, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna do this. I'm gonna like leverage like my accessibility to this and like take advantage of it and like have fun, you know, because like obviously it was fun.
Absolutely.
But apart from band, like marching band, jazz band, I didn't really use East Aurora to like build my resume and like pick like these strong clubs and stick to them like all 4 years and like find leadership roles. Like I wasn't like looking like to like build my resume. I feel like I was looking to like have fun and like do stuff that like I probably like wouldn't do. Like I've never played baseball in my life, but like one of my friends freshman year was like, oh, you should come like play baseball, it's fun, like everybody will make the team, like you'll just have fun, you know. And like I ended up playing, and then soccer, I did basketball, I did tennis, you know. Like I kind of just like, even if I wasn't like the greatest at these things, I'm like, you know, I'm probably like never gonna do these things again in my life. I'm gonna like use like these like clubs or like activities to like my full benefit and just like have fun with it. Like, and like I wouldn't say like I would go back and change anything, because I've made tons of friends and like I guess everything worked out, you know. That
is amazing. I love that. There's something to learn about where, I mean, it's true, and there's nothing wrong, I think, with some people, you know, wanting to also build their resume. It's very competitive out there, as you may know, with scholarships and such. But I think sometimes even us adults, we lose sight of why we do things in the first place. And I think it goes back to,
for sure,
are you having fun? Is this enjoyable? Like, hey, let me try this now, because I might never have an opportunity to do this again.
I don't think I would like ever want to like be in a club where like I would have to like force myself to like sit in that room for like an hour, even if it's like after school. Like if I saw myself not enjoying it, I would be like, oh, maybe I'll skip it this week and just like stay home, you know, because like if I'm doing a club, I'm gonna do it because I'm having fun with it.
And it's there's meaning behind it, right? Beyond, as you mentioned, a resume builder. Which that's great. That there's a lot of wisdom behind that, Kevin. I really think so. Awesome. Obviously, you're very much involved. Going back to teaching, back to your education,
Yeah.
but I want to talk about teaching actually. Is there a particular teacher, administrator, coach,
Yeah.
someone from your earliest days, maybe going all the way back to preschool, or kindergarten,
Yeah.
through high school? Is there someone that stands out to you that just really motivated you, maybe change your perspective on life? There's always that
Yeah.
one, or maybe there's a few, but do you want to
There is a few
chat
teachers.
about them?
There's a few teachers, and like I think like obviously like I've said this in like one of like the past interviews, but like if like without like me knowing, like I went into high school without like thinking, oh, I want to be valedictorian, I'm gonna try and I'm gonna go like to one of like a top college. Like I genuinely didn't go to high school with that thought that I was like wanted to do all these things, and like I kind of like coasted by, but I still like tried my best, because like that's always how I was raised, like
Absolutely.
try your best, do good on these tests. And then like some of these like A's started rolling around, and I think it was like early sophomore year, like I got like notified, oh, you're like in the running for like the top spot, and I was like, oh, actually, like I didn't really know that, right?
Wow.
Yeah, and it was just like such a surprise to me. But like I guess like a teacher that kept pushing me is like his name's Joseph Kulik, like one of the percussion teachers.
Yes.
And like I don't know, like I said that he was like around like my family for a while, so like he's definitely has like a connection with my parents and like all of my siblings from the past.
That's awesome.
And so he knew a lot about me, and like he knew like what his like teaching style like towards me was, and like honestly like pushing me to like be like the best like version of myself. And like he even showed me his letter of recommendation in colleges, and you could just tell like he genuinely wanted to see that success. It wasn't like just like a general recommendation, like I recommend this student, he's a hard worker. You could tell like he took his time, and like he made it personable to me. And I don't know, he's just always pushed me to be like the best version of myself, honestly. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Hearing you describe Mr. Kulik, right?
Yeah.
And which was one of your band instructors. It just shows the power that educators have in our lives,
Of
right?
course,
I think you 20, 30 years from now, you're still going to remember his name, the classes you took. And that says a lot about that profession that we don't give enough credit to, right?
And that's the thing. It's like super like first generation, like I mentioned like previously, like East Aurora High School in itself is like full of like minorities, first generation that like may have like that apathetic mindset, because like their like parents didn't go to college. I'm like, oh, why would I push myself? I want to push myself towards quick money. And that's when it comes down to like the teachers to motivate you like to do your best.
Wow.
And like I think that I've talked to like multiple teachers at like East Aurora, and they said that like even if like offered like different jobs like elsewhere, like they wouldn't like change their spot because of like the impact they have like on students' lives. Like it's crazy.
That's amazing. And when you're describing that, I personally know that, because I also I'm a Tomcat graduate of 2005. We're 20 years apart, Kevin.
You graduated before like I was born. That's crazy.
Oh, look at that. Yep, that's true. That is a fact. But the realities of the impact of the teachers, right, hasn't changed. There's actually some teachers that you had that I also had that left a lasting impact. And then when I taught at East Aurora, I saw that firsthand. Sometimes a lot of students really don't see the sacrifice and hard work that some of these teachers do. And to your point as well, we do have a community of a lot of first generation students that their parents, is not that they don't care, it's just they don't know how to navigate the educational system. I know that was the case for my parents. So sometimes it really does take those teachers. So shout out to people like Joseph Kulik and all these amazing teachers out there who are just doing a phenomenal job with our kids. So is there anyone else that stands out from elementary or?
I feel like definitely like
at Fred. You went to Fred Rogers too, right?
Yeah, but I feel like that like memory is kind of distant. But like those teachers were like definitely like always like pushing you to do your best and all that. I think there's like two teachers that still come to mind. It's like Mr. Milinovich, who would never turn down a recommendation for a scholarship or like any like college application, and Mr. Pedroni, like
yes,
he has a very distinct teaching style, and like you may like think like it's very like tough like teaching at first, but like he genuinely like wants to see you succeed. And like his story is like truly like it's very like humble, like his background and all that. and like you can tell like that he cares about this community and he wants to see like, you know, like the best out of his students.
Yeah.
And I remember like still like I had him for 3 years in high school.
Yeah.
And I remember like one of my like first like days in like his class, I couldn't read like his teaching style. I couldn't tell if he was joking. I couldn't tell if like he was being sarcastic.
Mm-hmm.
But like you could just like tell like he was like very serious when it came down to like work.
Right.
And like just like push you to do your best. Like
so
sure.
I'm sure a lot of hopefully our listeners, especially that went to East High, would know Guillermo Pedroni, right?
Yeah.
And congratulations, actually, he just retired, right? So you graduated the same year that he retired, but he leaves behind such an amazing legacy.
Yeah.
Of just what teachers really do in our lives. It's truly amazing.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that. I want to pivot back to family because you mentioned them several times, not just right now in our interview, but in your other interviews that you mentioned earlier that you've referenced your family, and obviously to you family is important.
Yeah.
You even referenced them in your valedictorian speech, which we'll talk about in a bit. But tell us, how important has family been to your overall success in life?
I think it's like been very important. Like I said, I come from immigrant parents, parents that have left like all of like their family to like come like have a better life in Aurora, Illinois. And I always ask my dad, why did you choose Aurora over any other state, any other city? And he was like, oh, I don't know, it just like resonated like with me and like my values, and like I had a friend out here and like I enjoyed the city. But there's stories like tell sacrifice. I like talked to my dad. My brother used to work in Chicago, and like my dad, like on his only day off on Sundays, he would wake up at 5 a.m. and like drive him all the way to Chicago, like just because he didn't want him taking a train. And on the way back, he would tell me stories of like I guess like his like immigration here. And not only that, he would just talk about like his stories and like his early life in the United States. And like it's very like humbling, like seeing like someone who just like faced so much adversity when he first got here. Like there was like a point where like he was like in and out of like gas stations and like couldn't like find anywhere to stay. And like he would like, it came to a point where like even like the gas station workers, like they handed them his like car keys, and like he slept in like a 7-Eleven like worker's like car and like overnight.
Wow.
And like my mom would tell me stories about like sacrifice and like how she had like the last $20 and she had to like be able to like to split that among like 7 days like until my dad got paid again, so we can like all be able to eat. And like she told me that story, like when she lost that $20, she just like burst down crying in like the middle of a park. And this was like when I was like barely born, and like she had to like be able to like feed all those 5 kids. And like she told that story, and like somebody came up to her and like offered a helping hand, asked what's wrong, and ended up giving her like the other 20 so she can like be able to like afford like food for the next week.
Yeah.
But I guess like in these stories, like I always like seem to notice like there's like that one person that is giving like an act of kindness, you know, to like I guess help people push through like these like hard times. And like I feel like I carry that as like now I have to give back in my community, you know. Like it's not just like being able to like come from a humble background and succeed. It's about having like that humility and like remember where you're coming from, to like now be able to like come back and help others. Because like right now I'm working, and like that's kind of like what I've been up to like all summer, like saving up, like not for college but like just like, you know, expenses and like flights and all that.
Yeah.
So I've been working like almost like all summer. I've been working like around like 35 to 40 hours a week, so like basically like full timing. And like, you know, everybody in like the restaurants like basically like immigrants, and like there's this dishwasher that like, you know, bikes to work, which is like insane because he lives right next to me, but like it's like 20 minutes away, and like you have to pass like through Aurora Avenue and like some of these like populated like streets. And like, you know, like I don't think it would be safe for him to like bike all the way back, like especially like 11 in the night. So like whenever I can, I like offer rides to like people that need them, like not because like, you know, like I feel like I want to do that. I just feel like I have like a desperation to help these people like in these situations, because I know like what it's been like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think that's like just like put me in like a place where like, you know, like people have given us grace, and like we have to give back grace to our community as well. You know?
Absolutely. You know, almost like that do unto others, right?
Yeah.
As they would have to do unto you. That is, man, that's such a beautiful story of sacrifice. And I'm hoping a lot of our listeners can identify or even just appreciate the sacrifices that, our families have made, obviously in your case, your parents, to really give you and your siblings a better life.
Yeah.
And the fact that you not only recognize that, but you feel like it's almost an obligation now to pass that forward, right? And that's amazing. So kudos to you and your family for raising just a great, great son here. I want to talk a little bit about this word called representation.
Yeah.
And I think you've alluded to it in different ways.
Yeah.
But, tell me, how important is representation, especially when we think about in education, in our community?
Of course. So even in my valedictorian speech, like when I talk about representation, I said, I think I still remember it by heart. It was like, I stand up here like as a breaking down of barriers as a first generation low income student, because like the simple phrase "Si se puede" is like a declaration that like Hispanics belong in community and especially in higher education. And I think representation is so important because like sometimes like those in our communities and outside our communities that like, maybe facing like adversity or like diverse backgrounds that like haven't like really led up to like higher education, representation is really important to like show that like we are capable and like we're like willing to work as hard as anyone else like put in our place, and like just like prove that like like we're like willing to put that work in, willing to like sacrifice as well, and like that we belong in these places, and like to keep working hard, because like without representation, like it's just like a world without like diversity, honestly.
Yeah. Wow. That's, 100% in agreement. Right. And you think about, your childhood. I think about my childhood.
Yeah.
When you see folks that look like you, that come from the same backgrounds, that maybe have the same struggles, and they made it, right? Yeah. And I love that you said "Si se puede," because I remember hearing that early on. Like it is a cry of accomplishment, of uniting our community to say that you can do this, right? That is fantastic. You mentioned your graduation speech, your valedictorian speech, right? And for folks listening, if you have not had a chance, it's on East Aurora's district's YouTube page, on their Facebook page. I've seen it, and it made me very emotional. I'm not gonna lie, because of your genuine story that you told and you shared in front of thousands of people that day. I want to know, a speech of this magnitude, how do you prepare for that?
Like, people genuinely asked me that like a couple times already, but I don't think I've had one sitting where like I just like sat there and like typed everything out. This was honestly like like built over a course of like time. And like I always used to like just like ponder in my bed, like especially like before I was going to sleep. Like in my speech, how I said like sandwich between my parents, it's a true story. Like I slept between my parents like early on in my life, and like both of them would like sleep earlier than me because they had like a longer day than me. And I would just sleep there. I would be like, oh, like why are people that like have like, I guess, what is it called, more benefits, not benefits, it's like more accessibility to stuff, like not trying as much as like I want to like make it out of our situation. And like every night, like especially like leading up to like my speech, like throughout high school, even when like I didn't think I was gonna have a valedictorian speech, I would like sit there and like think about like stuff like that would like change the course of my life and like put me in the position that I am today, and like that has like altered my mindset to like be the person that I am. So like when I would sleep every night and I would think about something that happened, or like even like a memory, like I said, like in the Chinese buffet, like after church, or like these stories where like my mom would like take us all to like the laundromat in Aurora. Like I would like think about these stories, and like I would open my phone, put the notes app, and I would put like jot down all these things that I guess like altered my life. And then there was like a week where I would just like see all these thoughts and like just like keep typing, and then like all these rough drafts, and then I kept revising. And there it was. And like it was like really hard to shave it all down to like 5 minutes. I even went over 2, but like I feel like I could have stood up.
I was gonna say they limited the time, right? Because you probably could have told
Tons of stories.
more stories, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just really interesting stuff. And how was that? I know sometimes it's, you know, those situations in life that sometimes are very rare where you have to do something in front of a lot of people and the nerves hit, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Like, were you nervous? Were you fine? Were you calm, collective? Could you see the audience? Sometimes, you know, when the bright lights hit you can't see anything, and that's kind of beneficial. How was that?
That whole day was honestly surreal because I guess like for my whole high school, like I knew that day was coming. I knew that like my spot was already locked in. And like I guess like I would always think about like how would it feel, and like I would mentally like walk myself through that stage and like try to like reenact, like prepare myself for like what I would be feeling. But like even like when I woke up that morning, like it just did not feel real. It just like felt like a regular day. And like I get to like my high school, I was like even late. I forgot my tassel at home, and my dad had to like rush it over to me.
Because I mean, this is all at NIU, right? Or did
no?
You were at school first.
We're at school still, and like I forgot my tassel, and like they told me to be one of the first ones there, so I can go like have a mic check. This is the first time this is like getting out.
Wow.
Yeah. So I forgot my tassel, and like that line to get through, it's like to get to the buses at NIU. I was like in like the back of the line basically.
Wow.
And like I forgot my tassel that morning. Yeah, and like I was one of the last ones to get to NIU, and like I didn't even have a chance to get to do the mic check, and I was like, oh, okay, like I don't know how this is gonna go. And like I've never been like a great public speaker, honestly. Like we've had like a AP research class where we like did speeches in front of like around like 20 to 30 people, and like it was just so bad. Like you can ask one of my teachers, it was just like I crashed and burned, and like it was just like stuff that I would like get excited to talk about and then just like fumble my words and like not be able like to express it. But like as soon as I got up to that like podium and like I took in that moment where it was like thousands of people just like watching me, like it just like it didn't feel real. So like it just felt like I was like talking normally, and like funny enough, like I just wasn't nervous at all. Like I don't know why, I just felt like not prepared. It just like didn't feel real. Yeah. And like I was just like able like to speak, and like I just kept looking over at my family. And like they pointed themselves out in the crowd.
Oh, that's good.
And like I just stared at them, and like everything worked out well. And like I didn't think I crashed and burned too bad.
No, I don't. I think it was the opposite.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the, honestly, truly one of the most amazing speeches I've ever heard. And I think because you were able to genuinely express yourself, right? You said that, you know, the previous speeches you had in an AP class, right?
Yeah.
That you crashed and burned. And might I argue that was probably just a lead up to this moment, right? Where you obviously did a fantastic job speaking in front of thousands of people. And I wanted the audience to know this. I'm not sure if you have the exact number, but you were valedictorian of a class of...
It was like, I think it was like the largest like to date, I think.
In history.
Like 2007 had like a baby boom, and like, like especially like it was hard like during like the college application cycle, because there was like tons of applicants.
Oh yeah.
But I think it was like around, my freshman class started around like 1,020, then like it simmered down to like I think 930 if I'm not wrong.
So not that much. It stayed relatively large class. So almost 1,000 students that graduated from East Aurora, and you were, I mean, there's no shame, there's no like boasting and saying you were number one academically, and you got to share your story in front of all your peers and all their families. Yeah.
I think that was the best part, like being able to like show everybody, you know, like I can like sit here and like have that speech with my family, but I guess like I kind of worked extra hard on that speech because I know there was like, you know, the next generation after me, like maybe like little siblings like from like these graduates in the crowd, and like kind of like motivate them to like, you know, like to try your best and like to not give in to like circumstances.
Absolutely.
You know?
I bet you that your speech not only resonated with your fellow classmates, with the next generation, but I argue every single person, whether it was your family or other parents that felt that orgullo that we say in Spanish, right? The pride of their kids successfully completing their high school careers. I'm sure there were educators there that, you know, speaking as a former educator myself, you know, we do have those lows where we start to question, is this job for me? And then we hear someone like you share your story and your sacrifices, and people like you, like that, helped you along the way. It's very motivating for educators as well. I'm sure there are educators left there feeling very, a lot of pride, but also a lot of comfort in their, in what they do. So kudos to you, man. I if you have not seen it, we'll even put it in the link, because I want folks to see and hear your story, because it's so powerful. Yeah. And you did so good.
Thank you.
So I want to pivot from that. It's hard to pivot from such an amazing, accomplishment. But, I've always felt that you are a young man that really does value, obviously, your community and what's going on, not just here, but also, in the world. I feel like someone like you, when you speak, people listen, not just because of your accomplishments, but we see your genuine caringness that you have. So if you would have some advice for any of our listeners who might be local leaders, elected officials in our community, and even in our country, like from a youth perspective, what advice would you give them?
I think, like I said previously, like it comes down to like the passion and like genuinely wanting to do something. And I've always said that you have to be like motivated by like something bigger than yourself, whether it be like a family, like circumstance, or like friends pushing you, or like maybe like teachers like pushing you, or maybe like a goal you've always had, like to be like a teacher, be like a doctor. And you just have to have like a passion stronger than yourself, and like be so locked into yourself that like, others can't help but to take notice of you. And like, just like do your best, like for your own benefit, but like not only for that, to like help others in your community as well. Because like honestly, like it comes down to like the people around you that have like shaped you to be the person you are, because like you are not like the person you are without like the people closest to you.
Absolutely.
And like do it for them as well.
I mean, it takes a village, right? Is the saying, the proverb, and you're living proof of that, right? You've mentioned a lot of folks that have helped you get to where you are.
I think it's like far more for me to like even count on like on my fingers, like it's like tons of people.
And that's amazing. That's a community, right? That's truly what a community is all about. I purposely did not mention in your intro where you're going next, because I think that deserves its own intro. We've talked about your high school career, valedictorian of East Aurora's class of 2025, and tell us, what's the next adventure for Kevin?
So I'm going to go to Harvard next year, and I'm going to be the class of 2029 for Harvard. Wow. And I'm going to study economics and government there, and hopefully like land a couple of internships. And like my end goal has always been to like, I don't know why, but like it just seems like super fast paced, and I want to be like an investment banker, like working on Wall Street.
Wow.
And if not that, like an immigration lawyer. So like, like ease some tensions in like our community, like especially now,
Absolutely. I mean, it's I'm glad that you recognize a lot of the issues that we're facing today, and obviously you want to go into that field. But Harvard, I think, and I'm assuming most people listening know that is one of the most prestigious institutions in the world. I actually read the other day that Harvard has produced the most presidents, U.S. presidents, of any other university. And obviously beyond that, all just the alumni that have gone into all these different fields. So what are you feeling now? I mean, I think school's gonna start soon, right? Like how are you feeling knowing in a month or so you're gonna be at one of the most prestigious universities in the entire world?
I think it's definitely like a little bit nerve-wracking, but it's also like satisfying to like see that it all paid off. Like I mentioned that like early in my childhood, I don't know why or like how I even found out about Harvard, but I just knew it was like the hardest hardest school to get into. And like
Absolutely.
I would always like tell myself, and I would tell my mom too, like going to like my siblings' graduation, like I'm gonna be on that stage, watch. And I told my mom, and she can like attest to that as well.
Wow.
And like I would tell my mom, I'm gonna go to Harvard, and like maybe like a little fifth grader, like sixth grader, like telling that to like his parents are gonna be like, wow, like yeah, you can do it. But like genuinely like believing that is like like a little bit hard, especially like coming from like a low represented community. And I think that like that just signified like me like wanting to do like the best for myself, not only just because like I didn't know the name of Harvard like at the time, but I just knew it was like something big to work towards, and like that just kind of like, you know, that was like a milestone to like keep working as hard as you can, honestly.
Milestone is putting it very lightly, right? I mean, that's almost like a life's accomplishment that you're living. I mean, that's amazing. So when does move in, all that stuff start?
I think that like all comes out like later this month.
Yeah.
But I think I should be flying out later August, and then classes officially start in September, and like I'll fly out, say bye to all my friends, family, officially like done working here.
Wow.
And like maybe come back like during next summer and start working here again.
Well, I hope you do come back, because obviously, you know, this is also your home.
Yeah.
And Harvard, that's in Cambridge, right?
Yeah, Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Wow. There are not so many words to say, but I mean, congratulations is obviously an understatement, but that's amazing.
Thank
I mean,
you.
The fact that this was something that you almost manifested as a child.
Manifested, definitely.
Right? And I mean, and you're doing it. I mean, that warms my heart as a teacher, but also as someone who's, you know, had the pleasure of having you be in our Aurora Youth Council, which we haven't really talked about, but you know, we have our youth council that's representatives of all the different high schools, and you represented East Aurora very well, obviously, and you know, we'll definitely miss you, but that's amazing. So, and I'm assuming they'll have like a freshman orientation or like a, you know, like a move-in day where they'll hopefully fill you in on what life is going to be like at Harvard.
Hopefully, yeah.
Well, I mean, have you visited before though? Or?
I visited once on one of the fly out dates. So like how it works is like when you get like into like some of these universities, like they invite you out to like it's called like visiting days of like accepted students, and like you get to see like the campus. There's like tons of events, so you can see like clubs you can join, activities fair, and they flew me out, and along with 2 other students from my school that also got accepted.
Yes.
Yeah, and
saw them in the interview.
And yeah, we got to experience Harvard, and like it was like 2 short days, but like I could definitely like picture myself there, and like as soon as like I stepped foot on campus, like it just felt like a life accomplishing goal. Like it was like a genuine reality. Like seeing that acceptance like in the application portal, it said accepted, and like that was a genuine shock. But like stepping foot on campus and like realizing like, oh, I'm wearing like a lanyard that says like first year student, like that was just like something unreal right there. Yeah.
That's amazing. And I was going to ask, like, how because I know for some folks, that waiting period of, okay, am I going to get accepted, right? Am I going to get that letter? How was that experience? Did you open an email? Did it come in the mail? How did that work?
So at first it came in an email, and then it came in the mail later on. But I just like, I guess I doubted myself. Like I said, like I never like thought I would like be able like to do the things that I thought I was going to be able to do. Like I said, like things kind of just like folded into place. So like when I sent out my application and it was time to like open the application, I still remember this. We had like our annual Prism concert for band. Yeah. And it was like night 1, and it was like a Thursday afternoon. It was December 12th, I think. And like the application portal opened, and like somebody told me, like I thought it was gonna come out the week, like next week.
Yeah, week after.
But one of my friends told me that like, oh, it's coming out tomorrow, and like I slept that night. I'm like thinking like, oh, like everything that I've been working towards is like finally gonna come like to light and see like if I've been accepted. And like I realized, oh, it's 6 p.m. and like it's Prism concert, and like our call time was the same time that the portal opened. So like as soon as I get there, like I'm like I can hear like trumpets or like people like practicing in like the band room, and like I lock myself in like a percussion storage room. And like most people do, like they like record their reactions to like getting accepted into colleges. But the way I doubted myself so much is like I didn't even whip out my laptop to like open it like through the like college portal with my laptop. I didn't set up a camera to record. And then like I just go on my phone, and like funny enough, like I had like this like email that I have like everything accurate to. So like my age accurate, like everything like that. Just like I have like a professional account, and it was like 17 years old. So like you're not allowed to watch YouTube at that age. And then that adds on. And then I open like the application portal, and like I click view status, and first off the YouTube icon comes up, and it says not available. This is restricted for YouTube Kids. And like I was like, what even is that, right? Then I scroll down, and it says congratulations, and I'm like, congratulations, well, like you've been accepted. And like I just started flipping out, I started screaming.
Oh,
And like
yes.
I went to go tell everybody like right away. And then I go home, I'm like, I wonder what that YouTube thing was. And I hop on a different email and I open it, and then it was like the YouTube video where it says, "Congratulations, welcome to Harvard."
Oh, okay.
And,
So
like,
it was
so,
they
like,
sent a
the
video from
pop-up-
YouTube.
the
Okay,
pop-up
gotcha.
was the
But it
thing
tried to
that-
block it because
Yeah.
of the age restriction. Oh wow, that's
So like
amazing.
everything is just like didn't like, I don't know, like line up like how it was like supposed to, but like in its own sense, like that's kind of how like the whole application process was. And like
Right.
I ran up to like Mr. Kulik and I was like, I got accepted to Harvard, and like the concert already started, and he was like, oh shoot, and like you can hear like
Yeah.
songs like playing in the background like for like 15
Wow.
minutes. I was just so shocked, and like the word started like spreading around, and like I didn't really like tell a lot of people, but
Right.
like you know, like one thing leads to another. Like
But it's
each-
high school.
an
One
East
person
Aurora
finds
kid-
out, everyone
Yeah,
does.
an
Right?
East Aurora kid gets into Harvard, you know, like it kind of just like led one thing to another, and
Absolutely.
like a lot of people like knew, like coming up to me, and like that first week was just like surreal. Like I just couldn't believe it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you probably played the best performance that night,
Yeah.
right? Because I mean,
It
how
was,
could you
yeah.
not? Wow, that's amazing. I mean, I'm like, how do I follow up? Well, we'll just do a really quick. I like to do this 1 minute speed round.
Yeah. Okay.
We do this with all our folks that we interview. And I'm just going to ask you a series of questions.
Mhm.
And, you know, you just give me, it could be a one-word answer, it could be a few. But let's just fire away. I'm going to put a quick minute here and, you know, something that's a little bit longer, and that's okay. But are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, Kevin, here we go. Favorite place to eat in Aurora?
McDonald's.
Okay. Is there a specific one? Like a restaurant?
McDonald's on
specific?
Union.
On Union. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Dare Delight or a banana split?
Dairy Delight.
Okay, there we go. I know that's a tough one. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Night person.
Night,
I'm not
okay,
a morning
very-
person at all.
Okay. If the Paramount debuted a musical based on your life, which famous actor would play Kevin Martinez?
Kevin Hart.
Oh, Kevin Hart. Okay, you guys have the same name. What's an artist that you would like to see at River Edge Park perform?
Morgan Wallen.
Oh, good. What song always puts you in a good mood?
Spinning Monkeys.
Oh, my son loves that one. Do you prefer books or movies?
Movies.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
What's a hobby you've always wanted to try?
Water polo.
Oh, okay. If you could have dinner with any historical figure, alive or dead, who would it be?
James Madison.
James Madison.
Yeah.
Interesting. I have a few. We're going to keep going. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Favorite holiday tradition?
Christmas.
Okay.
Christmas posadas.
Posadas.
We used to do that like at like my church too.
Oh, awesome. I love posadas, the food and the culture. And last one, what's one thing that can instantly make your day better?
Food.
Food. Good.
Food.
Do you have a favorite
Fast food. I love fast food.
Fast food. Okay. Eat it while you can, right? I was always told. Good. Kevin, that wraps up our interview.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. I
Thank
mean,
you for
obviously,
having me, you know.
oh no, I'm glad you're here. And I obviously, on behalf of all of us with Youth Services, City of Aurora, we're very proud of you. Off to Harvard, ladies and gentlemen. And obviously, we hope that you can come back and tell us some stories about
Of course,
how life is at Harvard.
Yeah, transition as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for watching. I'd like to thank again our guest, Kevin Martinez, as he gets ready to embark on his journey to Harvard. We'll see you next time. Thank you for being here.